So they have this idea to have a great Israel, a big Israel. So Israel is not stopped in Palestine, they want to expand it. So how they will expand their own country? They have to make these countries weak, fight each other, kill each other, and say, oh, hey, look, Muslims, they can't manage themselves. But if you go back to the history, for example, check Iraq as a history. Only Iraq have so many religions lives in Iraq until now, and they survived. Also, Iraq is 7,000 years of history. Do you think Arabs kill Jewish in history?
No.
No!
No. And let me tell you what the difference between Israelis and Arabs are. It's not that one is better than the other. One worked consistently to get benefits to their side. The AIPAC is the largest lobby in the United States. They've been working at it for 40 years. What have Arabs done?
Okay.
Nothing.
Consent over everything!
End of story, right?
What do you mean it's end of story?
You said he's not Muslim, he's attacking Islam.
This is
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Listen. We have Muslim come on TV said his name is Abdullah and he said Islam Quran is wrong.
Bro, 5 minutes ago you said...
It doesn't mean your name.
Listen,
You have a Muslim name, doesn't mean you're
5
Muslim.
minutes ago you said you've known him for 15 years. That he's not really Muslim. He's attacking Islam. He's a Muslim himself.
No.
And he's attacking Wahhabism.
I didn't say he's not a Muslim.
He's attacking Islam.
Attacking Islam.
Why would a Muslim
Please,
attack
why you
Islam?
keep twisting my word, man?
Why would a Muslim attack
Subhanallah,
Islam?
man.
Why would a Muslim attack Islam? Why?
You will be surprised. You will be surprised
He's
because do
attacking
you watch Arabic channels?
No. Do I need to?
No, you don't need to. You don't need to because you don't see what we see, my friend. We have people come on TV,
Hold on.
and his name is a Muslim, but he
Can I
attacks
ask you a
Islam.
question? You know that chap Hamza over there, is he a Muslim or not?
I understand that. I understand that, but
Europeans have a
what-
problem.
what-
Europeans
very
should be talking to
interesting
each other about
that
why we have
nobody
problems.
I understand.
Why do we go around the
Ma'am,
world?
ma'am.
No, seriously, listen to what I'm saying.
And the real problem is
Europeans have
that
a
we have a
problem.
country there which was
If anyone in the
founded
world should be looking at each other and saying, hang on a
Where
minute,
we-
where are we going? What are we doing?
you don't hear what I'm
Thank
saying.
you.
You don't hear what I'm saying. America created this kind of a group
in corrupting
to
everything
use them
around
as a front line
with one exception.
fighting. But what I'm trying to say, I can't fight America.
And what happens now,
I can talk to my brother
Saudi
Muslim.
Arabia,
Sit down, my brother.
Yeah.
These guys,
Let's see what's the
again,
problem.
That's exactly.
Can we talk about it? That's what I'm trying. If we not allow Americans to come between us, so why is American come between us? Because he listened to America. I say, look, sit down, my brother.
Start talking. Like
You're being a bit contradictory now. It's like some Virginia white boys don't
But this
control
is
the
the root
outcome
of the
of what
problem
happens in
instead.
Iraq and Afghanistan, and at the same time, what is happening in Iraq and Afghanistan is not.
What happened in Iraq and Afghanistan?
I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
The issue was going to happen 20, 30 years from now. If you look at how conservative Arabian societies were getting over the past 40 years, you were going to get ISIS or something like it in another 20,
Why?
30 years. Because society in the Middle East has been becoming increasingly conservative from the 1970s till today. And the main reason
1970.
from the 70s till now. If you look at when my mother was a student, there wasn't a single woman in the street wearing a hijab. Now, good luck finding one woman that isn't wearing a hijab.
Do you know why?
I'm telling you why.
And I'm going to tell you why.
But
I'm going to tell you for fact why. Do you know the Brotherhood Party Muslims?
Yes, I do.
They've been in exile from Arab world for the last 60 years.
Actually, no, they haven't.
Listen,
but
my
anyway.
brother, they've been living over here in America and Europe for years. They train them very well to go to Arab world to make these things.
Actually, they trained a lot of people, not
Listen,
just the Brotherhood. They even trained
Listen,
the
my
Middle
brother.
Eastern Security Service.
Listen, my brother. Okay, let me ask a simple question. Why we having this women allowed to wear this and that now, not before? You've proven my point.
No, I didn't
Because-
prove my point. I didn't finish anything.
No, because you said now is worse than before. As you said,
How is it worse?
You said before women as okay, now women wearing all these things. I'm trying to prove my point because the Wahhabism moved everywhere now. Help with America.
Why?
To do that?
Why?
Exactly. This is a good question. Look at what's the problem. The problem in Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Lebanon, and Iran. 5 countries. These 5 countries don't recognize Israel as a legal country. They don't recognize Israel. Let me finish, my brother.
Yeah, that's the point.
They don't recognize this the legal country. They said this is land for Palestinians.
Yeah, moving on.
No, I'm not moving on. I'm answering your question. I know you don't like it.
No, I'm waiting to hear.
I'm not. I know this is the problem start. They want to also Egypt as well. There's the three biggest military in history fighting against Israel. Egypt military, Syrian military, and Iraq military. If you go back to a little bit 1950s, 1960s, Arab people, Muslims understand that. So they managed to get rid of Iraqi military. They managed to get rid of Syrian military, put them fighting each other, and they put in Egypt military with fighting terrorists. So it's all about security of Israel. They want to make Arab world weak and weak, so Israel can be expanded more and more and more. But what happened? Iran come up from there, and Hezbollah come up from there. So now the problem is getting bigger. So this is why you think it's nothing to do with Israel. Everything happening in Middle East.
I didn't say that. You didn't let me finish.
I'm glad you mentioned that now. But after so many, after 1 hour of talking, because this is the root of the problem.
Yeah.
This is the root of the problem, and if nobody solves this, it will go on and on and on and on like this.
Actually, no one gives a shit about it.
No, you don't give a shit.
No. If
I
you
do.
Talk to anyone.
I do.
You do. I'm not talking about you and I'm
I do.
talking
This
about
is not
the
shit.
politicians.
This is not
I'm
shit.
talking about the
General.
politicians who make the decisions in that part of the
No,
world.
my brother.
A lot of them don't even give a shit about it.
It is
Their
what-
problems are
As
dealing
my
with
sister mentioned
internal
earlier,
issues.
it's nothing to do with religion.
I'm-
It's a politics.
Yes.
But they're using religion for that.
Yes.
Wait,
We
one
have to
minute you're
understand
saying
that.
religion, then you're saying it's
No.
the US, then you're saying can you
What?
make a cohesive argument, please?
What? I said
Yes.
this is American and Israel. They're using a religion to make war in Middle East.
Why are you giving them that much credit?
What? Who?
The Americans and the Israelis.
Good.
The Americans can't pay their bills in Chicago.
Good.
They are struggling to set a pipeline across their own country, and they elected a buffoon as a president.
No.
And you're trying to tell me they are controlling all of this mess?
So now you diverted to America. You don't want to talk about Israel.
I'm asking you.
I'm asking a simple question. Israel, does Israel want Arab to be strong or weak?
Israel doesn't care.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's all the problem now we have is about Israel, my brother. It's all about Israel. I know.
Explain.
Explain.
Please.
I can explain. Okay. Israel, they have a dream about the greatest Israel. Do you know that? You
Yeah,
do
from
that.
the Nile to the Tigris.
You're Jewish.
Yeah, from the Nile. No, I'm not. I'm Muslim, man.
Okay. So from where? From where?
Egypt.
No, from where? Were they?
From the Euphrates to the Nile.
Fantastic. So they have this idea to have a greatest Israel, a big Israel. So Israel is not stopped in Palestine, they want to expand it. So how they will expand their own country? They have to make these countries weak, fight each other, kill each other, and say, oh, hey, look, Muslims, they can't manage themselves. But if you go back to the history, for example, take Iraq as a history. Only Iraq have so many religions lives in Iraq until now, and they survived. Also, Iraq is 7,000 years of history. Do you know who's the first nation created the letter?
The Assyrians, the Babylonians,
Law.
Mesopotamians.
Law. That is Iraqis. So we're not bullshit people. We know nothing. Do you know how many, as I said earlier, with this all trouble we have in Iraq, do you know how many women been elected to be member of parliament now? Do you know that? As I said that earlier, of 325, there's 110 of them women been elected. Iraqi constitution, people fought for it. We want women to be in power. Wearing hijab, she's not allowed to wear that. But wearing hijab or not wearing hijab is up to her. So we know bullshit people. Maybe so Saudis people, they still drinking the shed things from the animal. They still drinking it. They still live in the desert. They're not working because they got people working for them. They're not clever. But 5,000 Iraqi medical doctors work in London, surgeons and things.
Okay.
The best architect, a woman in the world, Iraqi woman, Zahawi Hadi, she passed away last year. So don't tell me, look what happened to your country. Oh, you for next 40 years you'll be killing each other, look like a ship. That's what you mentioned.
No, I didn't. I didn't
That's what
say
you mentioned
anything
earlier.
like that. That's your interpretation. I can't control how you interpret what I say, but if you let me finish, I would tell you. So here's what I'm telling you. the story isn't as simple as, oh, it's something within us, oh, it's the Americans and the Israelis. Take out the United States and Israel. That's a 250-year-old country, and there were still wars and problems going on in the Middle East. So adding that in only made bad matters worse. It didn't make things better. There are two dimensions to this. The first is, if you look at the Middle Eastern countries, many of them were independent in the 50s, 60s, 70s, so they're fairly young countries if you think about it. And a lot of them started with a very socialist, militaristic ideology that drove out most of the social institutions that people would rely on. The only social institution that existed for 30, 40 years that was infallible was religion. The states couldn't poke their threads, with the exception of maybe Saudi Arabia and Iran, which made religion the central tenet of rule. Syria, Egypt, Jordan, Libya were run as socialist countries. So what happens is when you don't have any institutions, the only option people have is to turn to religion because that's the thing that works. Nothing else works. So you're going to find a slow graduation. And then you have guys like the Brotherhood taking advantage of that, providing services. Wait for it. I'll give you your chance. Now what's interesting is, as soon as conflict arises, who do they turn to? The guys who buy and sell the weapons. Where do they want to get the weapons? They want to get the best weapons they can for the best possible price. Who makes the best possible weapons for the cheapest possible price? The United States and the United Kingdom. Now, where does Israel come into all this? Israel is an excellent catalyst for business. Before Israel, the Americans, the Brits, the Russians didn't have weapons to sell anyone to. There's no major conflict. Second World War was years ago, and the Cold War was nearing an end. Who are we going to buy and sell weapons to? So they created a climate that enabled them to sell weapons. But it's like a drug addict and a drug seller. If you're not addicted, I don't have anyone to sell to. So I have to go and make addicts and find people who are susceptible to it. Now, it's a messy, complex thing, but to claim it's some white boys in Virginia or a bunch of guys with beards sitting in caves, and that's the sole purpose, you're answering a complicated question with a very simple thing.
You know, Harry said from early time. I said we cannot just blame America about what happened. We can blame our Muslim brother.
They're not that smart.
Please, my brother. Two, holding this ISIS ideology, and they've been backed by American weapons. But what the reason being backed by American weapon? Listen, my brother, you try to make things easier.
No, I'm not.
I'm trying to tell you, the biggest problem in Middle East is Israel, my brother. Israel, we want to have a weapon. All Israel have to be strong. Why are Israel allowed to have a nuclear weapon and the other country not allowed?
I'll tell you. Because the Israelis...
Listen, my brother. Do you think Arabs kill Jewish in history?
No.
No!
No. And let me tell you what the difference between Israelis and Arabs are. It's not that one is better than the other. One worked consistently to get benefits to their side. The AIPAC is the largest lobby in the United States. They've been working at it for 40 years. What have Arabs done?
Okay.
Nothing.
I answer your question.
And the GDP of Israel, a tiny ass country with no resources, has a GDP 4 times of Saudi Arabia that is 6 times the scale and has as many resources. Why is that? Is it Israel's fault?
You're supporting my argument.
It's the Saudis' fault.
No, I'm not. Saudis are nothing for me. I bring in Saudis as a bad example for Arab. Listen.
You're misunderstanding.
No.
Go ahead.
But what about Iran?
What about it?
What about Iran?
Yeah.
Now Iran, a very strong country. Iran is a Middle East country as well. Why you didn't mention Iran now? Working very well, building factories. They have a nuclear weapon. They have missiles. They are strong. They're not same Saudi Arabia. So they've been working hard for the last 30 years as well.
No, Iran is another story entirely, and I'll tell you why.
No, Iran, my brother. I'm not racism here. Talk just about Arab. I'm talking about whole Middle East.
Okay.
I mentioned that earlier. Iran, Syria, Iraq. Even in Iraq, there's about more than 5 million Iraqi that are not Arabs, but Kurdish.
Again, Arab and not Arab.
No, you're talking about Arabs. You mention Arabs all the time. I'm not talking about Arabs. The problem of Middle East is nothing to do just with Arab, with all people in Middle East. I agree, so the Saudis.
Thank you.
Saudis are, I'm sorry, the government are most stupid terrorist government, and the Saudi they're not working. So when the oil finish, I don't know what they got to do. But this is what I'm trying to mention earlier. Saudi is working for Israel as well. So Israel is the main problem for all Middle East. That is my theory, my belief. I respect what you said. They have nothing to do with Israel. I believe everything to do with Israel. Okay?
How does that relate to Iran?
What do you mean? Iran.
You brought up Iran.
Iran supporting Palestinians. Iran supporting Palestinians. So this is why they want Iran to be bombed. They want Iran to be smashed because Iran coming a very strong country threatening Israel.
But you know, Israel helped Iran to
Second.
fight Iraq.
That is different matter a long time ago. But do you think now America and Israel helping Iran right now to help them to making weapons and missiles?
Of course not.
Seriously, you Iranians, seriously.
That's why politics always
No,
change.
do you really
it's
think?
Not about one
Do you really
country.
think
it's about guns and business and all these multinationals? We have to actually take our talks
do you believe
into the level of business. in the
no,
world
but do you
and
believe Israel?
arm
Do you believe
deals.
Israel and Iran is a friend?
Right now, Israel and Saudi Arabia apparently are good friends, which was something I
No, do you
couldn't
believe
believe
Israel and
5
Iran
years
is a
ago,
friend?
If they're friends.
Are they
I don't
friends?
know.
And
I think
settle.
we can do business always.
Can
Everybody
nations
can do.
ever be
in
friends?
Dubai, everybody is doing business. So in Dubai, we have no problem with any religion, anything.
Money is
It's
nothing. Money is nothing. There's a
Well, I
people.
disagree.
There's a
I
people
really
in
think it's
Palestine.
money.
The people in Palestine. They're starving. They've been killed. They
Yes.
talk their own home every single day. I can give you $1 million of money.
I'm not sure Iranians are helping Palestinians. I think
I
Abbas
can
is
give you.
helping
I can give you $1 million of money back if you can be my slave. Do you like it?
No, of course not.
Thank you very
But
much.
May I just say something about Palestinians? I really believe Palestinians don't need Iran. Palestinians have Abbas, and if they follow and get together, they can do much better.
No.
Iran should leave the Middle East and take care of our people. We send money to Palestine
Why
and
am-
to
why
Syria,
am- why-
and in Iran,
So why-
every year
What-
the price of rent goes higher and higher.
Why
People are
don't
poor.
tell them?
We're not a progressive country.
Why don't tell American to leave Israel or to leave the Middle East
Yes,
as well?
I hope.
Why don't tell them? Why
But
does
I'm talking
Iran
about
have to leave?
business. The
Why-
problem is business underneath politics. Religion is just something we have the last thing that we should talk about. It's not about religion.
It's not
at
about
all.
religion.
It's business.
Nelson Mandela wasn't a religious person. He's a revolution person.
Why are you talking about Mandela?
Because you're just thinking this is about religion. It's not about religion.
I agree with you. It's
not about
business,
religion.
but I don't see. I mean, the guy.
Do you think
the
Nelson
gentleman who
Mandela? Do you
left
think Nelson Mandela
was
don't
talking
support
about-
Israel? Don't support Palestinian? Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
No, in Cuba, what's his name? The Cuban man, Castro. They're not Muslim. There's nothing. They're not religious. They do support Palestine and Palestinians. There's nothing to do with religion, ma'am. So many of people here, they have nothing to do
but
with religion.
Iran is helping just one side of Palestinians, not all of them. That's why when I
What do
say
you mean
Abbas,
one side?
they supported Hamas at some point, trying to help everybody, but it's not really helping Palestinians. What I think is Palestinians' job to take care of themselves, and Abbas is someone that can help with it because he's smart. He starts with UN accepting the Palestinian state. That is the way to go. Fighting doesn't help because Israel loves fighting. Israel is fueled by war, so we have to stop the war.
Iran defending themselves by helping Hezbollah in Hamas, because if there is none of those, they will attack Iran tomorrow morning.
That is true, but as a human, I think it's not good that you meddle in other businesses
We're all human
to keep
now,
yourself.
but this is politics.
Yeah,
this
it's
is money.
dangerous though.
This is no when you do politics, there is no feeling. It's about what I give and what you take.
Yes, but we're talking right.
Notice what he just said, by the way,
You
ma'am.
don't think the US helps
Notice
Israel?
what he just said. If he was fair, he would have said this is about what I give and what you give. But that's not what he said. He said it's what I give and what you take.
Can I just ask
This
you,
is what
you
it
don't
is.
think that the US helps Israel?
I do.
Okay, what's wrong with Iran helping Palestinians? I think you have a biased view.
I think we
because
just-
you've left Iran, you've gone to America, you've been socialized into this democracy that you think is the best way of living. And have you ever been to Palestine, or you just pro-West by this?
I'm
By
not pro-West.
well, there's a
I'm
lot.
just against the war.
When was the last time you went to Iran?
So who started the
came
war?
from- No, I
when was
live
the
in
last
Iran.
time?
Ma'am.
Because you said the rent goes up. Do you know how
Yes.
the level of inflation in the West,
Yes.
the inequality in the U.S.
I have-
Detroit is a fucked up world. Like
third world,
the
of
U.S.
course.
is going down.
Yeah.
Like
So
it's
Iran.
unmanageable.
No, I disagree. I don't. I agree with
But
you.
when was the last time you went
Both-
to Iran?
I'm coming.
No, but when was the last time you were in
Last time,
Tehran?
no, several months ago.
Do you
no,
know-
no, no, no.
Well, you have
no,
to
if
know.
I
It's in
speak
the
English
equities
like that,
market.
it's not because
What's the
I
total
don't
debt?
speak
What's the total debt of the country, Iran?
Pardon?
What's the total
I can't
debt?
look at.
What's the total debt? You don't need to say me. What's the total debt of Iran?
Okay, it's
What's the total debt of Iran?
Absolutely.
Japan has more than 1 trillion. US has what? More than 1 trillion of debt. What's Iran's total debt? Because you seem to be focusing
You
on
think
Iran's
I'm just-
economy,
yes,
and you don't know
because
the numbers.
Because as
Okay,
as
Iran
someone
has
coming,
less than.
would
go
you
ahead.
allow me to talk? The problem is that if we talk about politics, we always have to speak about interests. And that's the difficulty of it. I don't want to talk about interests. I want
you're
to
not
talk
being
about.
fair.
May I say something? I'm talking about ethics in here. I mean, it might be funny, but I just think as an ethical person, I would rather Palestinians decide for
themselves.
Palestine,
Okay.
Syrians decide for, and Iraqis decide for themselves. Of course, U.S. should leave the whole Middle East.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
But from my point of view, we cannot, I mean, as the gentleman was talking about, we cannot always talk about the West and their problems and they want to destroy us without actually being self-critical.
Yes.
But most of the source of the support Israel has had and the interest for the Middle East with respect to the resources has been driven by the West. I mean, you just completely ignore
Yes,
the
but do you
existence
really
of
think
Israel,
we
the
have
support it
no
gets.
power
Do you know how
from
much
Middle
money?
East?
Do you know how
We
much money?
are-
Do you know how much money Israel gets
May I
from the
give you?
US?
May I give you just some information about Iran? The first constitutional revolution happened in Iran.
What does that have
1906.
anything to do
May I
with
finish?
Israel?
I'm going to explain. So Iran started this step towards democracy in 1906,
Okay.
and it was a very genuine, revolution from inside. Then a coup happened later, and that was U.S. meddling, British meddling, French meddling, Russians.
It was planned by the West.
Right
It wasn't
now,
meddling.
Russians are even, much more. So we have all those meddlings inside of Iran. But I believe that we also have to talk about our own positions inside of countries
Hold on,
rather
hold on,
than
hold on.
always
So
talking
Iran-
about
so
its
hold on, okay.
Western.
So Iran thinking about its borders, its regional influence, just like how Russia thinks about Ukraine, and not having Israel war at its border, and thinking about supporting the Lebanon, thinking about
Could you
supporting
please
the.
speak a little? I
Okay,
can't
so Iran
understand.
thinking about supporting Palestinians. If you're going to just focus on politics and not religion and not about ethics of just being fair,
Yeah.
supporting weak Palestinians who are against Israel, which is supported by the U.S., ignoring all of that and just supporting Palestinians on the basis of its kind of longer kind of border in defense, you don't think that's right? You don't think that's self-interest?
I think we have to defend the weak in the world, of course. But I always feel no, we should. But I don't believe in governments doing that because of
unfortunately,
humanity.
you have a good-
I just don't
okay,
believe
okay.
governments do that because of
I
humanity.
see what
I
you're
think
saying.
it's very
I see what you're saying.
much full of interest.
You have a very sincere, you're a kind person, but the problem is this: when the other side is so aggressive and predatory and just, they have such a strong influence all around you, it's natural as a defense mechanism to respond in the same way. You're going to try to have
But then
influence.
we continue the
to
circle of
protect-
war.
has aggression all around it. You're saying Israel has aggression all
I'm not
around
talking about
it.
Israel. I'm talking about Iran. Israel is.
He's talking about Iran. He's
No
not
one can even touch Israel.
If we
Clearly, as someone like you,
continue-
your
They're
emotion has
getting,
got so much better
missiles
over you.
locked into
Okay, we're not talking about Israel.
Israel is a
On a
nuclear,
daily basis.
honey, sweetheart.
And if we
Israel,
just
sweetheart,
condemn
Israel,
them launching
Israel-
from hospitals
Do you know
and
what-
Sweetheart,
schools,
Israel is
the
Do you know what you've
death
forgotten?
of
Do you know what you've
children
forgotten?
would be
You've forgotten how is
reduced
Israel being
infinitely.
exist?
well, that's what it.
How is
everyone
Israel
ignores.
being exist? Israel being exist by weapon and military force killing people. That's fine. So for you to defend yourself, you need a weapon to defend How do you know
But
that will
then
not happen
continues
to
the
you?
cycle of war. That's my problem. You know, we always have fun.
You
we always
listen, my brother.
can revenge.
My sister.
We always can
My
do
sister.
this revenge. Oh, they
England,
did this, so we have to attack.
my sister,
and then when
England
are
and
we gonna
America,
have
the
peace?
most democratic country in the world, but they have the most powerful and weapon in the world. So while they have weapons, they are a very democratic country because they want to defend themselves as well. Do you understand?
They have support of the US, the Brits, the European Union. Israel is in safe hands, right?
You know,
Israel
what I
Israel
feel-
whooped
It's not
all the
anymore.
Arab nations by
It's not
itself.
anymore.
We
Israel is
could
a very
wipe
strong-
them out. It doesn't.
It's not anymore.
It
It's not
doesn't.
anymore.
Could if they wanted. It doesn't.
It's not anymore.
Doesn't want to.
What is she saying?
But it does want to stop the lobbing of missiles.
Israel is not anymore
from,
safe.
Hospitals,
It's
from
a firecracker,
schools,
madam. It's not
into
missile.
innocent
don't call those
communities
The Chinese firecracker.
in Israel.
Israel
It
is
does
not
want to
anymore
stop
safe.
that.
When the history of Israel began and the exchange of
Nice
missiles.
talking to
When
you.
the-
Bye-bye. Cheers.
When the Ottoman Empire collapsed.
Okay, so
yes.
if you need to assess the
They
conflict,
lost the first
we need to go
World
back and assess where the source of the conflict begins. You can't just focus on someone throwing a missile. I don't think everyone just goes to Palestine and just shooting missiles for no
I
reason.
agree. They lost the First World War, and even under
That
Islam.
does not give
Ma'am, you're in
right.
the wrong meeting. You should possibly there.
so-
Talking about Jesus. You're in the wrong meeting, ma'am.
Well, I'm talking about justice.
in the right meeting.
I'm talking about preservation
Christian
of
mullah.
lives.
You're absolutely right.
If people
I
would
get that.
say
You
it
need
is
to-
wrong
you need to think
to
about
launch
preservation of-
We're talking about
missiles
politics.
You need to think
from
about-
on top of.
We're talking about politics.
Preservation of life on both sides.
We're talking about salsa dancing, ma'am.
Preservation of life on
If
both
they would
sides.
say it was wrong, then a lot of children would not die.
Exactly. It's the same for Yemen,
Exactly.
the same for Palestine.
Both
And the reverse
Israeli
is true.
and Palestinian children would live
Absolutely.
in peace
Yes.
if that would stop.
Yes, I totally agree.
It would help if they stopped the lobbing
It's
of
all
of
their
missiles.
The Palestinians
into-
are the source of all of those problems. It's not that they have a
missile.
nuclear powered,
It's the missile.
like weapons grade army on the
Ma'am,
other side and kids.
That
with
is your
rocks
friend
on
there.
the
You should
other
go and
side.
have an argument with him about Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, that's so kind of them.
Who's come the first, the egg or the
So
chicken?
kind of them for not
Egg of the
wiping them
chicken.
out. That is so
It does not
magnanimous.
want to.
It does not want to. No, it wants to.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Since you're such an expert on
So you start
Arab.
picking on her, you're gonna pick on me now, yeah,
since,
go on.
No, you said you watch all the news channels. You know all the Saudi Arabian a lot better than I do, right? What's the situation with what's happening in Saudi
No,
right
we
now?
have a lot of people actually, or they're not the mulhidin. You know, word mulhidin. That's mean
Right.
they don't believe in God. It's open now.
What in Saudi Arabia?
In Saudi Arabia, there is almost 5% of people. 5% they said statistic. You don't believe in God.
Wow.
Ilhad. You know, we say what do you call it? So there is a big people coming. His name is a Muslim, but he's attacking Islam. We have that. It's not something strange for us.
And what do
It
you
doesn't
think- what
mean
do
you
you-
carry your name is Muslim. That's mean.
What do you think is behind the purge of the princes and the lock
My
up
brother,
of some-
I don't support no Saudi government. I
No,
don't support
I
no
get that, I
government.
get
I'm
that.
against all of them.
No, absolutely.
So
I say Salam, but I shake your hand on that point as well.
Yeah. You see, I've been speaking here for over 15 years. I spoke against Saddam Hussein. I spoke against all these dictators. When we have the Arab Spring, these people they created all these problems. You know, war, killing, beheading, all that stuff. Islam doesn't allow that, man.
No,
We're Muslim. We're gonna stay Muslim. We're gonna die Muslim.
But the question I'm asking, because you said you read all these different news channels, I don't read that.
Yeah, but
So
you
based
denied,
on what
you denied,
based on what you read,
Hezbollah
No.
doesn't exist in Syria,
what
and
I
they don't
said-
kill Syrians.
What I said, I don't know that. What I told you was, if you
That's
look at the
simple.
news, I said what I said. If you look at the news over the past few years, it's all been ISIS. Now you said, actually Hezbollah is also doing the killing. And I asked you, where is the news source? And you said there's some Arabic.
No, not
kind of
all Arabic. You just Google Hezbollah
Okay,
and
I
you will see
Google
all the
it.
channels
fine.
talking about
based on because you've been here for 15 years, you said you know a lot.
No,
okay,
but-
based on your following of the news, recent news in what's happening in Saudi, the prince has been.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you make of that? Why is that happening?
There is a power struggle between the family. There's
Okay.
a power struggle.
So it's got.
Yeah, we have a guy who basically, you know, Saudi how they come to power. It's through
Just the bloodline, just
you know,
pass on to family.
no, because family, uncles, and goes like that, and this guy come and jump to the front. you know?
The current prince.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So he needs to eliminate his enemies, because you have, for example, Ben Bandar, is like the guy. He's so powerful, he's unbelievable. You know, put him in jail. You guys, the guy who actually ran the national army, is in jail. He put all his enemies. It doesn't matter because they are family. They're his uncles. You know,
No, I get
they're
that.
in jail now.
So what do you think of a family of this kind of background, considering themselves like the custodian of the Islamic world?
No, I think
Mecca,
you want
Medina-
my opinion, and I'm honest. I think Saudis are gone. They're finished. Because as soon as he start killing his own family, he's done.
But who will take over? You think it's going to be a Western kind of pro-Israel?
No,
like
well,
the guy
who
was
will
saying?
take over? Only Allah knows. Only
Do you
God
have
knows.
a preference? Do you care?
Well, preference. I would like to have somebody which is decent. You know, somebody who can, you know, who can build institutions. You know, the court system. Somebody who's not going to be involved in the business. Somebody who's going to be a ruler, which will come through election, sort of elections. So like Muslim Shura, because we have Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he never left us a monarchy.
Right.
Muhammad never left us a monarchy. Muhammad said,
No,
when
exactly.
I die,
That's why
you
it's a bit
guys
ironic.
get together
Yeah.
and find somebody who can rule you, through elections.
And royalty is not.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't exist. This is something
But it's
new.
amazing. Even you're from Morocco, right?
Yeah.
Even in Morocco, you have a king, right?
Yes.
It's amazing how like Jordan, all these like Islamic countries have.
There's no such thing as king.
Royal
You know,
families.
it's in Morocco actually they say he's a king, but he's not a king. He's Amir al-Mu'mineen, real title.
Right. But his
He's a
his
prince of
title
believers.
is not king.
No. The constitution call him Amir al-Mu'mineen, doesn't call him a king.
Right.
The word king is a little bit. The king means he's your owner. I own the land and I own people. That's what kings mean. But the title of Amir al-Mu'minin, we accept that.
I mean, careful behind you.
So far, to Morocco, we've done good. We kept the Imara because
it's been
keep
a
in mind.
peaceful nation for-
No. Keep in mind, Morocco was not Morocco you see today. It was Morocco, Mauritania, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya. It was ruled by Marrakesh. Marrakesh was the rulers. But when the French and Spanish come, they divided everything. It was one kingdom. All these countries you see around Morocco, they are French creations.
Ruled by Morocco.
He was ruled by Marrakesh.
Before the
Al-Muwahhideen.
before the English and Italian and French.
Yeah. The one of the famous rulers is what his name? He's a famous ruler. Murabitin.
So you're talking what, 200, 300 years ago?
Actually, Murabitin not only ruled North Africa, he ruled North Africa plus Spain. The whole thing. But when the Muslim got weaker, the European they come and they divided because we were a threat to them. That's what it is. Make us small countries. But I myself, I don't believe in borders. I don't believe in Algeria. I don't believe in Morocco. I believe it's supposed to go back to this old system where we are one economy, one government, one country. That's what I believe in. That's my opinion.
Killing Muslim barriers in Hyde Park this year to stop the truck bombs. That's right. That's right. You are a truck bomb. Go away. Your brothers, Moroccans and Tunisians, they're the ones who are going in with the trucks.
Which trucks?
In Berlin, in Nice.
Who gives them a driver license?
Paris.
Who gives them a driver license?
In New York.
Who gives them a driver license?
I love the
I bet the trucker's name is Volvo. Who gives them Volvo truck?
You kill 80 people in the truck,
Yeah, you kill.
women and children.
I'm in
Your
London, man.
real
You
Muslim
kill.
brothers, dude.
Come here.
Come back.
It's time to go back to terrorism.
By the way.
They put them there. Black ones and yellow ones. That's right. To stop terrorism.
Why are you pointing your finger at me?
To stop that book. To stop the jihad.
Do you think this guy is jihad, man? Come on.
You're jealous.
Right. He's there to fight terrorism.